Hi everybody, welcome back. I'm Strategy Professor, and today we're going to be looking at the patch notes for 10.3. So as always, if you enjoy the content, please be sure to like and subscribe. It helps out a ton. Hit that bell, enable notifications as well if you want to hear about when new videos come out. Also, you can follow me on Twitter at @TheStratProf. I make a daily announcement where I'll tell you exactly which videos I'm releasing at which times every day, and you can also follow on Discord where I make the same announcement each day, the Strategy Professor on Discord. We have tons of other content as well. We have a playlist of coaching session, champion guides, topical guides, and we're just always adding new content. We stream every night around 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and go till about 4 or 5 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's only on YouTube, and if you ever miss a stream, you can always catch the replay with timestamps around noon every day on the YouTube channel. So check it out. Very friendly community, very chill atmosphere. Okay, let's go ahead and get in here. And I'm trying to make the videos shorter for you veterans of the channel that are, used to my really long videos. I'm really trying to make these closer to like 15 to 30 minutes, and I'm trying to do daily videos as well, either about a topic or a guide or just something, plus the stream every day, just to give you as much content as I can. Okay, so Aphelios getting nerfed, no longer resets on epic monsters. Alright, so he's going to clear Baron a little bit slower. Attack growth doesn't matter. He's going to lose, what, by like 2 attack damage by level 10 or something. So that's not going to be a very big deal. Moonlight Vigil. Now, this is one that I think might be build defining, but we'll just see how it goes. 50% bonus attack damage on the R, down to 20% bonus attack damage on the R, or bonus crit damage. No, it is attack damage. Follow-up crit, 50% bonus attack damage, 20%. Is that crit damage or attack? Because I thought it said crit damage. Bonus 20% bonus attack damage. Okay, so they did the crit last patch, I think. Sorry, let me check that. I thought I looked at this. That kind of caught me off guard there. Let me just check that just really quickly here, because I thought they were nerfing the attack damage. Bonus critical strike damage. 10. Okay. This says it's bonus critical strike damage. Hey, thanks for the sub. I appreciate it. Okay, so that's worded really weirdly, because they didn't do anything on 10-11 to him. Follow-up attack crit. 50% bonus attack damage, 20%. Okay, that's worded really weirdly. I think it's the crit one. So basically what it is right now with your R, you can crit. It can crit, so the damage, the ability itself can crit, but it only does 50% of normal crit damage. Now it's going down to 20% of bonus crit damage. But abilities typically can't crit. These attacks can critically strike for a certain amount bonus physical damage. So 20%. Okay, so it is 20% bonus critical damage, but it's not all bonus critical damage is lowered. It's not the ratio on it totally. Like, it still has the same ratio, the 20% bonus AD, all that stuff. So the ratio, as far as, like, if you never get attack damage, for example, and you just get a bunch of AD, then that doesn't change. Sadie, don't you mess with my pizza again. Last night she ended up swiping a piece of my pizza and pulling it on the floor and a bunch of, like, cat hair, so I couldn't eat it. But anyways, okay. So a little bit of damage to his crit build. So I think, maybe this opens up where he could go like a Blade of the Ruined King, Hurricane type of build if he wants to do that. I think his ratios are still too high. Although some things do apply attack damage, I think, or on hit damage. I think the Sentry applies on hits. Can critically strike. Benefits from attack speed and critical strike chance. I'm not 100%. Someone would have to theory craft this. I'm not an Aphelios expert, and he has like a million different ratios, but maybe it's possible he could go for something like a Blade of the Ruined King build or like a Mirror Mana build or something like that. Maybe this opens up his builds, but it is going to nerf his most standard Infinity Edge into Hurricane. And Infinity Edge in general is a pretty weak item that most popular AD carries right now do not like to get that item because the build path is garbage. Because you have to get a BF sword, and the items are just so expensive, and if you don't have perfect back timings, it can really set you far behind. That's why a lot of the popular ADCs and a lot of the powerful ones, especially in Pro, just don't have that, right? When you're thinking about Aphelios does, but then like Varus has the lethality build path that he's doing. Ezreal, has Ezreal's build path with a tier build. Kaisa has a tier build. Vayne, Blade the Ruined King. So pretty much everybody, and that's not in Pro, that's in solo queue. So just like everybody's trying as hard as they can to not have an Infinity Edge build. A lot of the popular and powerful ADCs right now. So except for like Jhin does, obviously. But anyways, we'll see. Maybe people will try other builds. I don't know. Maybe it still is going to be Infinity Edge, but that's definitely going to power him down if he keeps the Infinity Edge build pretty significantly. Because that does hit a lot of people. In a team fight, the R hits a lot of people. And if you have a lot of crit, that's a really big deal. I still think he'll be good, though. Okay, a little bit less magic resist. Not going to matter at most levels of play. Gnar. This is interesting. Like, the numbers look good. I think you max this last. So basically getting a free 20% attack speed for most of the game and having it last longer is good. The problem is most of the time you're holding this, I think, just in case you get ganked or like for all ends, because this is your escape. And this is only when you're in mini Gnar form, I'm pretty sure. So if you want to do this aggressively and like jump on their head and like bounce behind them and then auto attack them and try to like all in, this can be pretty good, but it's like very situational because I think you don't want to do this. You want to use this to get away most of the time. If you're going for like some kind of attack speed build, which is really rare on him, they've been trying to push that a bit more. If you're going for like a Blade the Ruined King build or something on him, maybe this is useful, but I don't think this is what's holding him back. The main thing that holds him back is you can't control the transformation. I mean, that's the huge thing. If they would just change that and just make it to where you choose, like with Shyvana, you fill up that bar and then you choose when you're going to do it. You press R and it transforms you. Then that would be nice. But until they do that, I think he's going to be a fringe pick unless his tank stats are just like off the charts, and that's when you'll see him in like Pro and things like that more. But right now, probably not that great. And they nerfed him because of that. Kalista, okay, gets extra attack damage growth down. Okay, I mean, she has been played some in Pro, but she hasn't performed like too well. But either way, it's not going to matter. By level 10, you're losing half an attack damage per, so you lose 5 attack damage at level 10. Whatever. I mean, that matters. Like, that's going to be 175 gold lost at level 10. So it'll matter, but I think she'll still be fine. Okay, this is a bait. People were asking me about this on stream once this was announced. I don't think it's going to matter. This is still a pretty low ratio on the R. It's a 0.35, so every 100 ability power you get 35 extra damage on your R, which is nice. It does cost a lot of mana. I mean, if you hit every single living artillery, maybe you can make this work. I think that Xerath is just better if you want that type of thing. But he is good with poke stuff. The problem with poke right now is there's so much healing in the game that it just doesn't matter for a lot of poke champions, right? Like Soraka is really powerful right now. And then there's just so many champions that are taking like Conquer, Ravenous Hunter. They just have some kind of healing in their kit, lifesteal items. It's just such an abundance of healing in the game that this is just not going to matter, I don't think, because they're just going to heal through this kind of like just light poke. They'll just attack a minion wave and heal it up, or they'll have someone else heal them on their team. I just don't think it's going to matter, and this is like an okay ratio. But if this was the Void Ooze, the stuff that wave clears, the E, the little slime trail, I think that would be actually maybe pretty good, because if he had like really exceptional wave clear and then early on he could poke you under tower or something before you have time to come online with a lot of magic resist and healing, maybe certain matchups would be good. And the fact that you could harass through the minion wave with the ooze, but the ooze I'm pretty sure is still like a 0.5. And Kog'Maw's still Kog'Maw. He has so many problems. He doesn't have any hard CC, so if anyone just runs at him, you know, he can't do anything about it. At least Xerath does have a stun. His slow is...
Uh-oh, I think I can run.
What is it, Rory?
It's right behind.
Oh, okay. Can Mommy help you with that? Oh, here you go. But yeah, he's just very vulnerable. He can get caught out. Yeah, it's just a 0.5 on this, and it's super high mana cost too. That's just ridiculous. It doesn't ground. It just slows also, so... Kog'Maw, I mean, they just need to figure out what do they want this champion to be. I mean, I think it's cool that you could play him AP potentially, and that he is on hit, but if he's on hit and he's as dangerous as he is, he needs to be the supreme, unquestioned king of 2 or 3 items. And right now, he's not that. Like, he's good, but he's so weak, he's so vulnerable in the early game to ganks. He has no defense, no hard CC. He's got this little dinky slow, you know, 20% slow. This is, you don't get any points in this for a long time. That costs a lot of mana. It's not that long of a cooldown, I guess. But if this grounded, like, they need to give this grounding. Like Cassiopeia's Ooze. That would help a lot with mobility. But they should at least give this grounding. So, I mean, that way people could still cast spells, but they couldn't jump at him anymore if he did that. That would be nice. Even if they had to nerf the range a little bit, they should give this grounding. But, like, the Living Artillery just doesn't do that much. I mean, increased damage every time you cast it. It goes up a little bit. You do get double damage, I think, right? No, it's just doubled. No, it just costs more per cast over time. And so it's basically an 8-second cooldown, unless you want to start dropping a lot of mana. It's an 8-second cooldown, effectively. And if they're below a certain amount, then you get a bonus. But I don't know. Like, it's okay damage. It's just... His kit, it just wants you to go in so many different places. Like, you want to get attack speed. You want to get, you know, on hits. You want, like, the Blade of the Ruined King, Ginsu's Hurricane package. But then you also kind of want some AP if you want to go for the AP build. Like... I guess you could go like Luden's, Nashor's. I don't know what else. Rylai's, Leandri's package maybe. Then you can slow people with the Q and apply the burn damage if you go for the Rylai's, Leandri's. I don't know. I'm sure people try it. It'll probably be, you know, some people have some success with it, but I don't think it's going to be that great overall. They need to just bump this back up to like 8% or something per hit. Targets max health because he's just so vulnerable to pick him, or make him not as vulnerable, give him grounding on his E. Okay. Piercing Light, so 1,000 range on this. I don't think Lucian, I mean, statistically Lucian is bad right now. He's got like a 47 or 48% win rate, but I think maybe people just aren't playing him right. I don't know. It feels like he should be better than he is. Like, he has so many different like things in his kit that he can do. It feels like there has to be some kind of build and playstyle that can work well. I think maybe too many people are going for the crit build with Essence Reaver. Maybe people could try to go for a Mirror Mana build that would give him like a lot of wave clear early on. He does like the mana. And he can double proc the build, or double proc it with his Q. He can get double stack. So maybe something like a Mirror Mana into Ginsu's, or not into Ginsu's, Mirror Mana into Blade of the Ruined King. Because he could get both of those for just tons of on-hit damage. And then, I don't know how his passive works with Hurricane. If that would, double shoot the bolts or not. I'm not sure about that interaction. I never see him get that item, so I assume it doesn't work that way. But, Ginsu's, presumably, you could get the Ginsu going off a lot faster with that. So if you went, Mirror Mana into Blade of the Ruined King into Ginsu's, would that be a really good single target, just blast people down? I don't know, but it just feels like there's got to be some kind of combination of items that could be good on him. I feel like crit is maybe not the place to be, but I don't know. But this is nice either way. This is nice. You get the ability power range, or ability range 1,000, so that's pretty good if you're able to use that through minions. It's kind of like Senna's, where it tracks. You have to aim for a minion, but it goes through the minion for a pretty good distance. Not as far as Senna's, but It's pretty good. So he is an early game bully, but he's very short range. They are nerfing Death Stance for range champions. I mean, maybe you could go back to a Cleaver build or something. He used to do Blather and King Black Cleaver. Maybe something like Muramana, start with Muramana, go Blade, and then Cleaver after that. They give you a lot of utility. Then take Press the attack. So that'd be a lot of armor shred if no one else on your team's getting Cleaver. I mean, people were goofing around with the Triforce build back in the day. Maybe you could get Triforce. That'd give him some good burst. You know, he does have a lot of different abilities he can trigger on very short cooldowns. I'm not really sure. But anyway, it feels like there has to be something that he could be good with. Alright, Nocturne. Yeah, okay, so this is not going to matter for middle or top Nocturne, but for jungle, the basic attacks against monsters now reduce the cooldown by 2 seconds. So that's pretty nice. I think the cooldown's like 10 seconds to start with. So that means he's going to be able to clear stuff a lot faster and be a lot safer. Oh no, did you hit yourself in your head, Rory?
Yeah.
Are you okay? She was holding the big Poe over her face and she got tired and it fell and hit her in the head.
Oh no. Okay. Not better. Rest it on your tummy. Rest it against your knees. Okay?
But anyway, so that's going to give him a lot more healing because whenever he does that AoE, it heals. It obviously does more damage. And it's AoE, so that is going to be really nice to help him clear out, you know, like raptors, wolves, stuff like that. Maybe he doesn't have to get Tiamat with this. I'm not sure if he got Tiamat anyways, but if he was, maybe he doesn't have to get it because this gives him enough wave clear on raptors. And maybe now he can just rush Umbral Glaive or Dustblade or something like that faster. So he's okay. I think he could be all right. Once again, I'm not sure about the build. I feel like just Warrior into lethality stuff and his go for kills would be good. They should just lower the cooldown on his ult, honestly. It's like 150 or 160 or something. That's just too long on someone who's that ult dependent. Like, I get it, it's semi-global, but it's on such a, it's like very short range to begin with. Like, maybe not make it last as long. Like, it lasts a really long time. Like 6 seconds or something. Maybe just make it like 3 seconds, but lower the cooldown to like 130. I don't know. Anyway, so I think this will be really nice for him. He'll probably get maybe a percent or two, but I don't think he's going to be insane after this. Now, Nunu, I think this is going to be really good on Nunu. Because Nunu already has really good AP ratios. People just don't build AP on him as much as perhaps they should. Like, the AP doesn't scale as well because it's like you feel like you need to be in there like for longer fights. With Nunu, you're not bursting people out a lot of the time. And so, but like Cinderhulk is bad. When you very first get Cinderhulk, it's only like 950 gold efficiency on the item itself because it's bonus health, not total health. So if you rush that, it doesn't matter like what your base health is. So Cinderhulk is actually a very bad early item. It does get better, like once you get about 2.5 items, then you get a lot more out of it. The thing that you do get is you get better wave clear off of Cinderhulk, right? Because it helps you, you know, you do that AoE damage to monsters and minions and all that stuff. So it does help you out with that, but Nunu already has pretty good wave clear with his snowball. But this might allow you to go for Runic Echoes instead, which is going to be much, much more cost efficient. So if you look at... now, he doesn't need the mana as much, but there are some times where you do need the mana. There are sometimes when you do need the mana, because if you're like having to like clear side waves and stuff quite a bit, you can run out of mana. In like really long fights, you can run out of mana. So sometimes the mana is a little bit of a waste. But even if you take the mana out, it's still going to be a very efficient item. So like Runic Echoes is 161% efficiency. Which is very nice. And you do get mana regens. This will allow you to just more freely use like your E to clear mini waves. Because sometimes if you're spamming your E and you don't have blue and you're going a Cinderhulk build, you can run out of mana on waves. So you have to like not use your E and just use your Q. If you've been out for a long time without basing. So I don't know. I think that it does have CDR on it, which is also pretty good. Because your snowball does have a long cooldown. Obviously, your ult's pretty high impact, low cooldown, or mid-size cooldown. And I think your snowballs even have a fairly long cooldown, so he'd really like the CDR. And then the 80 ability power is just very nice, and this does damage, like a lot of burst damage to champions. Like that Cinderhulk damage is nice, but it's gonna take a little while for that to add up, right? It's gonna take, I don't know, if you have 100 ability power, this is probably gonna give you, 70 damage to 4 people. And it has a much wider like spread. Like the Cinderhulk burn damage, they have to be right on top of you pretty much to take that burn, versus this little orb does the damage like really quickly and spreads. It doesn't say the range on the spread, but I feel like it's 400. There we go. Radius, that's each side of Nunu. So you'd probably have to sit on 4 people, like have them all surround you for like 5 seconds or something for Cinderhulk to do the same like AoE burn damage in the early game. So I don't know, this can power up his early game pretty well, and like I said, he already has pretty good AP ratios before they even did this. So like now base healing from non-champions is 90 plus 10% of your bonus health. So the 10% of your bonus health on this, I mean, if you do take Cinderhulk, that is giving you basically like 400 something health, like 450 health. So getting 10% of that's like 40. But getting 90% of the 80 that you get off of Runic Echoes now is going to give you, I don't know, like 72. So it's going to give you more healing off of that. So now if you just chomp a minion, like it's going to heal you for a ton. And then when you're rolling up, if you have a max snowball, it's 150% AP, so that's really massive. This doesn't look like a lot. It's per volley, so that gets up to 54% AP, but then if you hit them with the delayed root thing, then that's an extra 80. So that's a 1.34. And then the ult didn't have any AP ratio on it. The shield now has 150, so when you take Runic, you're going to get an extra 120 shield. The base is 65. That's like double the base shield. So I don't think you're going to be seeing like death cap Nunu and stuff like that, like maybe. But I could see something where you choose to get Runic early if you're kind of going for an early game power spike. And then I think that Leandri's Torment is awesome on him. Like 3rd or 4th item, especially if you're really far ahead and they're just not killing you. They just don't have the damage to kill you. I got Leandri's even before this because it has health and AP on it, and you get a lot of extra burn damage. And if you take something like Ravenous Hunter, cheap shot Ravenous Hunter, then all that extra damage that you're doing is going to end up healing Nunu for a lot more too. So I could see a build where you go like Runic Echoes into like Dead Man's Plate into Spirit Visage or into Leandri's if they don't have a lot of magic damage. Maybe Spirit Visage and then Leandri's. But it does put some more AP on the table. And I think it actually could be quite good. Usually I take the AP runes anyway, so that's going to give you some base value no matter what. I take 2 AP runes as the minor runes. But yeah, Leandri's could become a staple. 3rd or 4th item for sure. And then maybe Echoes if you want to go early. Now, remember, if you're going later with Cinderhulk, if you're worried about like 4 items or something, Cinderhulk's probably better later, but early on, I think Runic's really good. Because you can press the gas pedal early with Nunu, like his ganks are very, very good, especially if you're coming out of the river on one of those scuttles with a snowball, because you keep the bonus movement speed for the entire duration of the snowball. A lot of people haven't played Nunu, don't realize that, but if you start the snowball on something like on those little shrines, the scuttle shrines, you get a massive boost in speed, and your snowball powers up a lot faster, so it's super good on ganks. So I think Nunu's going to do very well with this. He's already one of the highest win rate junglers, so I'm not sure why they needed to do this to him, but I think he goes to 54 or 55% off of it. I think it's going to be very, very good for him. So I think he might be the biggest story of the patch, or certainly one of them. With Runic early, potentially, like I said, Runic, Deadman's, Leandri's. Now, maybe people go for full-on AP. Sometimes people get Proto Belt, too, on Nunu. You can't activate that when the snowball's going on. But if you hit them with the snowball and then you Proto Belt on top of them, it's pretty much guaranteed you're going to hit all those bolts. I mean, hey, maybe people do just go really hard and they just go, Runic Echoes into Proto Belt. Both those items are very cheap, and then just top it off with a Leandri's and then start building tank. I don't know. I mean, that would do a lot of damage. You could go Sork Boots with that too. So I don't know. Maybe people do go hard on the AP Nunu. He does have the damage. So we'll see. But it does give him more options, which is nice. And like I said, you don't have to go that far out of your way. You could just get a Leandries with a normal Cinderhulk build, like Cinderhulk, Deadman, Leandries, and it's fine. And now you get more value out of it. Okay, I'm really glad that they took out the nerfs they were going to do to Orin. They were going to nerf his passive brittle or whatever down to 12% damage when it was 18% in all ranks. Oh, good job, Rory. So this is going to allow him to retain his damage. So what they're doing now is basically when he's in lane, he's not going to get the full benefit out of building like Ruby Crystal and Sapphire Crystal pretty much. Because right now if he builds Ruby Crystal, you just get a free 180 health in the lane. So it gives you more preferable lane back timings. But now if you are at 50% health and you build a Ruby Crystal, then you're only going to get 90 health out of it. So it's a pretty small difference, but it will matter in like challenger and pro level play, and I don't think it's going to affect lower level play that much just because it's really going to hit like back timings and stuff like that, which is a lot more advanced. People don't think about that in lane pressure and tempo at lower ranks. So I think this is a really good way to do it, just to nudge him a little bit in power in ways that probably won't affect most elo brackets. So I think that's good rather than just chopping his damage. I like doing this a little bit more because I don't think he's that impressive. I mean, he's got like a 50% win rate in pro right now. It's not that, and he's doesn't have a great win rate in solo queue, and he's a cool champion. He's very interesting, so I'm glad they're keeping him in the meta. Grand entrance for Rakan. Now, for the record, I don't think Rakan needs that much of a buff. I think he's still pretty good. He sees some pro play, not a ton. But you got to be really careful buffing Rakan because if you buff him too much, he's just everywhere and he just takes over pro. He's the most successful support in pro over the last 3 years. He has 2 skins from Worlds for a reason. 2 of the last 3 skins from Worlds for a reason. So you got to be really careful with this champ. And I play Rakan a lot. So I say that, so I'm happy for the buffs, but you got to be careful with him. Now, I think the W max is the best. I know there are a lot of challengers that will, sometimes they'll max Q or sometimes they'll max shield. I think that at least getting 3 points of W in the laning phase and then going to shield is the best. I'm going to make an updated Rakan guide where I explain more of that. But pretty much, it just gives you the most, pretty reliable burst damage. It gives you more mobility. And it gives you your CC more often because it lowers the cooldown and increases the damage as you level it up. So the Q is nice if you hit it a lot, if the poke matters in the laning phase. But someone pointed out on stream yesterday, I think it might have been Alistair, that the Q cooldown does not actually start until the heal triggers. So if you hit somebody with your Q, so it'll say, 10-second cooldown or something on it if you level it up. It'll say that, but it'll say that, but then, maybe it sits on you for 2 seconds before you trigger the heal, and then it's really a 12-second cooldown. And that's really weird because every one of his other abilities, the cooldown starts when you cast the ability. So his ult, the cooldown starts when you cast the ability. His E, when you cast it. His W, when you cast it. Not when the animation finishes or when you've done all of the shields or anything. It's right when you cast it. It's just the Q where the cooldown doesn't start until you trigger the heal. So that's weird. So anyways, I think W is the place to go. So this is going to help out a little bit. I mean, 10 extra damage is probably not like insane at level 5 rather, at rank 3 on this, but it'll add up. It'll matter a little bit in some matchups. They don't want to buff his super early game too much because Xayah Rakan does do a lot of damage early game, but it's fine. Does a little bit of extra damage. I don't think it's going to push him over the top. But it's nice. Oh, good job. You got some ice cream, Rory?
I got my ice cream.
Oh, nice. Magic resist 3, attack damage 2. Not going to matter. This is not what's holding him back.
Ice cream cone.
Wow, you got an ice cream cone. That's very good, Rory. It's not going to matter. He's just too hard for a lot of people to play, and he's just too slow. Requiring... You might be able to get away with a single chart, build-up item, right? Like, maybe you can just... You have to have tier. Maybe you can skip Rod with some builds, but I think he still wants tier plus Rod. I see it. That's very good. Oh. Good, Rory. Very good.
And I love it.
And you love it. Good. Oh, don't actually lick it, though, Rory. You can pretend lick it, but she's got like these like toy fries in a cup. They've been rolling around on the floor. Okay, with Syndra. Now this might matter in the early levels. 60 mana, or it's going to 60 mana from 40 mana, so 20 extra mana. So it's 10 extra mana at level 5. It probably does matter if you're harassment. She is very strong right now in pro, so this is probably a pretty good nerf to her. I think that, you know, at the end of the day, once she start off with like 400 mana or something, you're probably going to cast maybe 2 less off of this. 2 or 3 less Qs in the laning phase. When you hit those at a very high percentage, that does add up. But yeah, I mean, once you get this to level 7, you're not really going to notice it. Even level 5, 10 extra mana is probably manageable. It's just those early lane, in some lanes that are really high pressure, where this might matter, where you're taking a lot of trades. Or where you feel like you need to accelerate and push the tempo really well. Because that does affect her wave clear too. So if you're getting pushed in by something that's going to go roam, this is going to make it a bit harder for you to keep up with that. But yeah, certainly once you get your lost chapter, then I don't think this will matter that much late game. So it's like, yeah, if enemies can take advantage of her early on, and push her in or force her into a bunch of trades and get her to take a bad back because she's out of mana, you know, maybe it matters. But maybe this forces her to take Corrupting Pot or something instead of Doran's Ring. I'm not really sure, but I think she'll probably be fine either way. Okay, Vi. Lower cooldown later on. This is pretty nice. It is a good chunk of damage. It is a nice piece of CC as well with your Q. I don't think this is necessarily what's holding Vi back, but it's a nice gesture. She's still going to be a, you know, power farm to 6 and then just go, like, chain gank a bunch of people. She just doesn't, like, have as much utility as some of the other champs that also have, like, really strong engages. And her ganks are kind of subpar pre-6. But it's fine. I think she'll do all right. She's just, you know, she's going to go Warrior Triforce, and if she gets ahead, she can blow people up. After that, you know, it just depends. Now, Yorick, 600 range. I guess this is nice that you can control her, though, right? Can't you tell her where to go, like all pets when you press R? I don't know. So it's like, okay, she leaves a fight at 600. Okay, you can jump on the bed if you want to, Rory. It's okay. Now she's very sad, honey. She's jumping on the stool, calling it the bed.
I don't want to.
Okay, you don't have to. Anyway, I don't know. I don't play Yorick enough to know where this is going to matter. I assume you can control her. If you can't control her, if she just, like, goes berserk and runs after people, then this would be nice, because then you can walk out of range and she comes back to you before she dies to towers and things. But if you can control her with, like, R anyways, I think maybe R releases her and you can't control her. Maybe she's different. Maybe you can't control her, then you have to press R, and then she pushes the lane autonomously if you do that. And she just attacks whatever's closest to you. I think that's actually true, because you can unleash her with the R and just let her go down the lane. So maybe you can't control her with R. Okay. If that's the case, if she just kind of attacks whatever you're attacking, then you can pull her out from under towers and stuff by walking out of range. So, that's good. Yumi. So this is one of the more controversial ones. I know a lot of people hate this champ. I know Jolty likes this champ on the channel. This'll, like, I don't think this is going to matter as much as people think that it does in most situations. So the situations where this matters, obviously it's going to be a nerf to, like, the mana flow plus Presence of Mind build, which everybody has to take on Yumi because she just needs that much mana. So, but you still have to take those. It's like, yes, it is part of your max mana now, but you're just not going to get enough mana, I don't think. I mean, I guess it's possible maybe if you get a ton of Fairy Charms, but her Q still costs a ton of mana too. So, I mean, I guess it's possible if you get a ton of Fairy Charms or find some other way to replenish mana, that doesn't include max mana. It would just be a lot of fairy charms. Which she gets anyways, but I think you're still going to want to get, just because like when you have the max mana, it does affect your Q as well, and this is 15% of your max. It's not like all of your max mana. So I think you do still want to go the standard mana flow and presence of mind build, but pretty much like this is going to cost a ton more mana if you're doing it outside of combat. If you're not getting kills and assists, because whenever you get a kill or an assist with presence of mind, it refunds 20% of your max mana. So yes, this is costing you 15%, but you won't run out of mana probably if every like 3 spells, every spell rotation, you're getting a kill or an assist. So in a team fight where people are dropping, especially people are dropping faster in the fight, this is not going to matter that much, because you're going to get refilled and you're going to make it to the end of the fight probably. Where this is going to matter is poke. So if you're getting poked out by stuff on the enemy team, just trying to heal your allies through poke, this is going to be a very big deal. Because once again, you're having to use mana without the possibility of getting an assist. And like trying to use this just to speed people up to like move around the map. So you're trying to chase somebody down and you're just wanting to spam E on Darius so you can run down, somebody on a gank, or you just want to spam E so you can run down somebody after a fight. You're not going to be able to do that as much. You're going to be running out of mana. Or just to rotate around the map, just to, spam E on your AD carry just to get them back to lane faster. It's going to be a lot weaker. So it's just giving her a trade-off. It's saying, look, you're going to have about the same amount of power in like a 5v5 team fight, but you're going to be a lot weaker to poke. This is going to make her a lot weaker in the laning phase too. To those just light trades where you're not getting assists, especially against like Soraka. I think Soraka is very good against Yuumi right now in solo queue because she can out heal Yuumi late game. Yuumi obviously has the stun and she does have the speed, but Soraka's mana costs are way better and she just heals single target way faster than Yuumi does, and that's going to definitely be accented now. So if it's just like a trade war between light trades in the laning phase, Soraka's definitely going to win that hard now. So that's an interesting way to take it. I think ultimately with Yuumi, they're going to have to make her attachment temporary, where you just like attach to somebody for 3 seconds or something. Maybe you give them your passive shield. You always give them the shield at max value when you attach or something like that, and then lower the shield amount. I don't know. Like, they're going to have to buff other aspects of her kit to compensate. Maybe lower the mana costs on stuff, increase the heal or the shield. Just buff her other stuff, but just make it to where she's vulnerable a lot of the time. So maybe she can attach to somebody for up to 3 seconds, but then she falls off and she can't reattach to the same person for some amount of time, 10 seconds or something like that. So in a team fight, you can still jump around to different people, but then you would have to choose, okay, who do I jump on? Because you can only give the heal if you're attached. So you'd have to, and you'd get one heal on him, basically. So then you'd have to pick, okay, and you'd have to decide, okay, do I want to jump on and protect myself if I'm getting threatened right now so I can go invulnerable, or do I want to jump onto the person early to heal them even though I'm not being threatened? Okay, I got you, Roy. So I think that would make a lot more interesting choices, and that would be a lot more counterplay capabilities there. Because then she'd have the choice, do I want safety or do I want to actually be able to heal somebody? And so I think that there's going to have to balance around that. And then tweak her other numbers as they see fit. But she just cannot be permanently invulnerable, or they're just going to have to gut everything about her. I really don't think this is going to move her win rate that much. A little bit, maybe 1 or 2%. But I think she'll still be, like, picked in pro. So it's a very troubling mechanic. I like the idea of being able to go invulnerable. I just think that being able to do it permanently, especially late game, is just too much. It's just too hard to balance. So temporary. Maybe increase the range that you can attach to people. I don't know. Like, increase the range, increase her stats, like give her some extra survivability. Maybe like give her extra movement speed, give her a bigger heal, or something like that. But it's just not working. Definitely take off the thing where if she gets CC'd, she can't attach for 5 seconds. Get rid of that and just make it temporary. 3 seconds, you can attach to one person. And then the cooldown, or you can't reattach to the same person for 10 seconds. You can still jump around to different people in team fights. If it's a 5v5 fight, yeah, you can still jump around to everybody. And it's going to be a lot riskier, and you're going to have to make more decisions about it. And in like the laning phase, you're going to be vulnerable a lot of the time if you did it the way that I'm suggesting. Okay, runes, conquer. All right, so about the same level when you add it up. I think it's slightly stronger once you get it fully stacked, but it's going to take 12 stacks instead of 10. So what this means is if the fight's going really long against tanks, I don't think this is going to matter that much. It's still going to be really good. But in these quicker burst fights, when you have like Conquer versus a Press the Attack champ or versus a Electrocute champ or something like that, it's going to give the edge to those champs more. And it's going to make champs weaker that we're trying to run Conquer that require more stacks. Good job, Rory. Good job, Rory. That require more... can you go over there and sing, Rory? Can you sit in your chair and sing? So, yeah, champions that just have to do it with auto attacks that do it kind of slowly, like Trundle was trying to run Conquer. You know, stuff like that is probably just going to go back to press the attack if they have a press the attack option. But the stuff that stacks it like almost instantly, you know, like your Garens, your Urgots, your Wukong, stuff like that, they're obviously still going to run it. So, you know, some champs that want faster damage or can run press the attack and, you know, want that debuff utility, who have like auto attack resets and stuff, your Camille's, your Trundle, stuff like that, they might want to go PTA now, Lucian. You know, they might want to go PTA and not go Conquer. So it'll matter a little bit. So it's going to be a nerf to champions that want, that stack it slower, or champions that want faster damage that have the ability to do PTA. So we'll see. But I don't think it's going to shake up the meta that much. Little nerf. But, you know, if you're going to spend 15 seconds beating on a tank anyways, you know, taking an extra 1 or 2 seconds to get this fully stacked. So, like, all right, you're missing, like, 2 AD. Now, you are missing that health healing. This might take it off of Ezreal. Ezreal might go towards something else. I don't know what. Maybe, maybe he could try PTA. Maybe he could do, like... I don't know, Unsealed, or I'm not really sure. Not really sure, honestly, what he's gonna run. Rory, honey, you gotta quit doing that. Honey, can you get her, please? She hit her face again.
Oh no. Come here. Oh no.
Yeah, you can't hold it over your face, Rory. She keeps dropping the iPad on her face. She's done that twice. She's okay. She's not bleeding or anything, but obviously it doesn't feel good. Even as an adult, like, if you're sitting there trying to watch your iPad and you're tired and it just like falls and hits you in the face. But anyways, with they're nerfing Guardian quite a bit here. I'm a little surprised by this. I mean, Enchanters are doing well, but they do well with Aerie as well. I mean, let me see real quick. I just want to see what the differential is here between Aerie and Guardian. Okay, it's like 2%, I guess. I mean, is that out of whack? Like, they are hacking this shield. Like, they are hacking it big time. What, okay, so Lulu, who's becoming more popular. Soraka is very strong right now and very underrepresented, but how is she doing? Same deal, about 2%. 1.5%. So it's like 1.5 or 2% stronger on Guardian than it is with Aerie. I don't know. I guess. I mean, does that really mean that it needs to be knocked down like that much, like 25% at max level? I'm not sure. So on champs that can run Aerie comfortably, maybe like you, I don't know about Soraka. I might still run Guardian. We'll try it out. It's because, like, she's so strong if she doesn't die. If you're taking Barrier... It collapsed.
Your house?
So... With that, if you're taking Ignite or something, if you're like Nami and you're taking Ignite and you have lane pressure to kill, you know, you're probably just going to take Aerie and it's not going to matter. You know, if you're taking Guardian or something, then, or not Guardian, Karma or something maybe. So it's like, if you're going to take Barrier and you're all in on personal safety, which is usually just Soraka, then this is going to matter. But if you are one of the other enchanters, you know, that can take Ignite, then Aerie, like the Aerie Scorch package is probably going to be better for you. Because when you take Guardian, you're also getting Revitalize, which is like, that's one of the main attractions for Soraka. She's just like really OP with that rune. It's basically another keystone. Revitalize is so strong, and that opens you up to be able to take Ultimate Hunter, which is also really strong. But you know, if you're playing Lulu, like, you don't get that much benefit out of Revitalize. You know, you barely get any. Like, your shield, your E, it's going to buff that up some. But then, you know, your ult is an infusion of health if you're playing Lulu. That's not even a heal, so it doesn't even benefit from Revitalize. So, and you're not usually I mean, you do take Redemption sometimes early, but a lot of times, just with with Ardent Sensor, you're not getting as much, like, plus healing and shielding. Her AP ratios aren't that good. So, I don't know. I mean, I feel like it's going to nerf Soraka a little bit. She probably deserves it. The real people that this is going to hurt, you know, are, like, the people that can't proc Aftershock that well that are, like, tanks. So, like, Tom, Kench, and Braum are kind of the two that really jump out to me that would go Guardian. So, it's going to hurt them even worse. And they're just terrible in solo queue right now. So... I don't know, maybe there's someone else I'm not thinking of, but I think the primary one that's kind of risen to prominence lately is Lulu, and she's been taking Guardian. She's, like, really, really popular right now. So, we'll see. Little much. I mean, if it's really bad on Soraka, it's not like she can't take Aerie, like the Aerie, and then you could take Gathering Storm, or you could just go for more harassment with Scourge. You take Nimbus Cloak. And stuff like that. It's not terrible. It's fine. You'll have a little bit less personal safety, but it's fine. That's a fine build. So either way, most champions, enchanters can just take Aerie. It's really Braum and Tom that are getting the short end of the stick here. But they're kind of bad in solo queue anyway, so it doesn't matter. At most ELO brackets. Okay. Death's Dance, 20% for ranged champions. Okay, so this is going to nerf Graves and Ezreal primarily. Fine. So they're a little bit less safe. You can burst them out, maybe kill them. So this combined with the Conqueror nerf might be enough to nudge Easy down just a little bit. But we'll see. Running out of time. I don't want this to be too long. I am trying to make these a little bit shorter. Champ Select. It's obviously this is not going to matter for, you know, melee users. You know, so your Canes, and just pretty much every other melee champ that runs this is not going to be affected. It's really just Graves and Ezreal. Maybe another ranged champion I'm not thinking of, but it's primarily for those two. And I don't think it's going to matter that much. Both of them have alternate builds. You know, Graves can just not build it. He can build other things. And then, and he's already, like, absurdly tanky anyways. And then Ezreal, you know, can just build Blade of the Ruined King. Death's Dance is probably better than Blade of the Ruined King by a little bit, but Blade's still fine on him. Okay, Champ Select report and mute testing. So this is just to placate people that are crying about, like, toxicity. I did a whole video about that this season. I've played every single season in League. I'm here to tell you, it's not that much worse this season than it is every season. It's the same thing over and over again. And most of this just stems from people just being frustrated. They're not climbing as fast as they want. And they have selective memory. They're just remembering negative people more than they're remembering positive or neutral people in their games. Because positive and neutral people don't say anything or do anything. You know, a lot of times, if it's a 10-person match, there's one person that sasses you, that says something to you. You just remember that one person. You don't even think about the other 8 people in the game. And the other 8 people are fine. It's like maybe, you know, one person who's toxic. And some people, you know, call it toxic. They're like, oh, it's super toxic. This guy got mad when I died for my 6th time. And he told me dude, you suck, quit dying. It's like, is that toxic? Yeah, probably a little bit, but it's like, just hit the mute button, man. Like, I don't know. I mean, yeah, it sucks when people are mean, and yeah, they shouldn't type in chat, but you can also just mute, you know? And people that are, like, just actually literally go AFK, it's very rare. Like, it does happen from time to time, for sure, but it's not going to stop you from climbing because it's symmetrical. You know, the enemy team is going to have AFKs. They're going to have people on troll picks. They're going to have people that have bad games. And so you're going to get that on your team as well. Your hair's got to stay up. Her hair thing's messed up. She's pulled it almost out of her hair.
Mommy can fix it. Come here.
So anyways, this is a step towards making people trying to make people feel better without actually doing anything. I mean, I talked about this on the channel, and I talked about this in the toxicity video too. They can't really do anything in Champ Select. Like, how are you going to prosecute somebody before you see any gameplay? Like, the only thing is if somebody says something that's just like super racist, or telling people to go kill themselves, or like actually saying, I'm going to end this game, good luck idiots, or something like that. You know, yeah, sure, they can prosecute that, but like, they're only saying that in pre-Champ Select usually to try to get you to dodge. And because they know that they can't get caught, really, because there's no chat log of that. So they feel like they can say anything they want there. But once people realize, oh, I can't say that anymore in Champ Select, yeah, they won't say it, but, you know, is that going to change their actions? If they really want to int you, will they still int you? Sure. You know, will they still, you know, call you like names in-game or whatever? Sure. I mean, it's like such a rare, like, what is Champ Select supposed to catch? You know, if someone's sassing you anyways and they're not gonna dodge, then they're gonna sass you in game too, right? So that it would catch those people anyways with the in-game toxicity, right? If it's someone that's just fishing for a dodge, they can just fish for a dodge by hovering, you know, a bad champ, right? Like just hovering a bad champ with bad summoners, try to fish for a dodge, and then you know, if they don't get it, leave it the last second. Right? So this isn't going to stop that. So yeah, people just won't chatter as much in the pregame chat. Okay. That might, like I said, it might catch some people, but most people who are being toxic that aren't just fishing for a dodge are going to be toxic in the game, so the in-game behavior would catch it anyways. And I don't know, like, are you going to be able to report? I guess you can report before you dodge. But, like, here's the thing. It's like a lot of people are going to try to use this to try to report people that are picking champs they're not good on, or champs that are bad in a meta. And I don't think that's reportable, right? If someone, you know, if someone wants to pick, you know, something like a Teemo jungle or whatever, like, I don't think Riot can prosecute that, right? I don't think that they're going to be able to ban people for that. Unless they want to mandate a meta and say, hey, you can't play Teemo in the jungle. Hey, you can't play this or that in the jungle. And they're not going to do that. People are going to have a crazy backlash against that. So if someone's playing something bad, but they're trying their hardest, they're actually trying to win, as far as people can tell, then there's just no way they're going to be able to prosecute that, right? Now, I don't know. I mean, if they go obscenely ridiculous, right? They go the classic Disco Nunu middle with Cleanse Ghost or something like that. You know, maybe if it's like a meme build in like extreme circumstances, maybe. But like if it's a Teemo that's like going jungle with Smite, they're not going to be able to do that, right? Hey, be careful, Rory. Hey, be careful, Rory. Okay? Yeah, Sadie says hi, but she's trapped in there, okay?
Oh. What's that? It's a kitty.
It is a kitty. But anyway, so I just don't think it's going to matter. So you're going to get so many. That's why they're saying they're going to experiment with this. And what they're going to find is the same thing they find with most reports. People are just reporting stuff because they're tilted. They lost a few games. They want people to pick good champions. People are going to play whatever they want to play, YOLO queue, and people are just going to report it. They're like, this guy picked, you know, Gangplank support, or this guy picked Teemo jungle, or, you know, it might even be, we didn't have a tank on our team. I told this guy to pick a tank, and he picked Soraka bot lane. I'm going to report that, you know. Or like, I was hovering Yasuo. I wanted to play Yasuo mid lane, but this guy picked Yasuo top lane. I'm reporting it. you know, and so I don't think it's gonna work out. Like, it's gonna be kind of a feels good. Maybe it's cathartic. It'll allow people to feel like, you know, something's being done. But then people are just gonna say, oh, nothing's being done anymore. There's people still picking stupid stuff in my games. But I mean, that's the thing. You just can't, like, there's just no way to force people to play champions that are good, that they're good on all the time, right? Some people just want to try a new all caps build they saw, or just try something for fun in ranked. I personally don't approve of that message. I think people should take it seriously and try to climb, but at the same time, I don't think you can really like ban other people just for playing weird stuff if they're honestly trying to win. You know, the Nubrak situation, I've talked about that a ton in the toxicity video and on stream and stuff like that. The reason Nubrak got disciplined and the reason that Sen's support got disciplined is they aren't playing a standard game of League of Legends. They were picking Teemo support and sitting middle the whole game, or they were picking Sen support and roaming the jungle all game. Their intent was to win, but they weren't playing the standardized game that people are signing up to play, and that's why they got disciplined. If you just picked Singe and actually played support and stayed in the support lane, or you just picked Teemo and stayed in the lane and tried your best to win, I don't think that's reportable. Now, it's debatable. I don't want to get into all that. We only have a few minutes left. But anyways, now one thing people did point out, though, is like, what if you're hovering something and someone bans that champ? Maybe reportable, but I could definitely see situations where there's a champion that's widely considered like really overpowered or like very strong in the meta right now, and they're wanting to pick it as like the very last pick. So like someone's like the 5th pick, and let's say they're hovering Darius or something right now, right? And they want to go Darius support. Let's just pick something extreme. They want Darius support in the bot lane. And your top laner is the very first pick, and he's afraid. He wants to play something that Darius is really good against, and he is really scared of Darius. He's lost to Darius a lot, and he doesn't want to lose to Darius again. And frankly, he doesn't want this person picking Darius as support either, so he just bans Darius. So he's just like, no, I don't want my support to play Darius, but more importantly, I don't want to go against it because I'm afraid the enemy team's going to pick it. I think it's OP. I usually ban it. It's good against the champion I want to play, so I'm just going to ban it. Right? Like, is that really punishable, right? If you have someone that is, ban somebody's champ when they think the champ, in any of those situations, it's good against their champ. They're afraid that the enemy might pick it. It's going to be good against them. It's good in the meta overall. Or it's something that just seems really off meta, or something the person is really bad on. Can they ban that? So, do I think it's bad practice or bad behavior to ban a champ that someone's hovering? Yeah, I don't do it. I would never do it. I would just dodge the game. Because the thing is, if you ban somebody's champ like that, if they want to play Yasuo mid and you see the person has a 30% win rate on Yasuo or is first timing Yasuo and you ban it, they're going to troll you probably, right? So it does lead to a lot of toxic behavior. But the problem is some people could do it. Like, there are lots of situations where they would want to ban something, and it's an honest, like, you're just scared the enemy's going to have it, or it hard counters your champ, and you're afraid they're going to get it if the person's a last pick. So I just don't think they're going to discipline people for that, for banning hovered champs either. Maybe. That might be one thing they could look at, but I doubt it. I doubt they're going to do that. So I just really don't think anything's going to come of this substantive, right? It's just going to be something that helps people feel good, and just, that's what they're hoping for. It just helps people take out some of their frustration in the lobby and say, I reported this guy for picking, Teemo jungle or whatever. But in the end, it's not really going to do it much. I don't think it's going to be that cathartic either. I think it's just going to get people even more pissed off that they don't think Riot's doing anything about it, when in fact they really can't do anything unless they just want to enforce a super strict meta, which I don't think is a good idea. Okay, not a lot going on here. There were a couple of things I noticed that were kind of a big deal. Double up now applies press the attack and on hit effect, so that was a huge bug. That's a lot of extra damage for her. And if she wants to go Conquer, which I don't think you'll do that anymore, but that would work with double up. I think that was it. There are a couple more. With Fiddlesticks' Fear, apparently if you put multiple pieces of CC on someone, then when the Fear ended, it ended all pieces of CC. So if you stun Fiddlesticks and there was just a 1/10 of a second left on his Fear, it would also remove the stun right here. So that's actually a pretty big nerf to Fiddlesticks. And then I think that's pretty much it. But anyways, okay. That's going to be it for this video. Thank you very much. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, be sure to like and subscribe. Check out the rest of the content on the channel, and come by check out the stream 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every night. And we'll see you then. Have a good day.